Hello, everybody. Welcome to Something to Talk About. What's going on? Here's some Benver stuff. You guys go check all that stuff out after you check this out. But before you do that, hi! Welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco, and I'm here to talk about Song of Ice and Fire characters. Littler characters, some lore stuff. I do have rules and what's going on because I have a format, but I'm just going to put this up here instead of explaining it to you guys. Save us some time. So pause this if you want to read it all if you've never been here before. But it's time to talk about Tycho Nestoris, representative of the Iron Bank of Braavos, unlikely visitor. So I know what you guys are thinking. Is this one of those, let's talk about the differences because Tycho Nestoris was in the show? No, screw that. Don't count it. I'll explain why. This is talking about Tycho Nestoris from the books, because they're pretty much completely different characters. I'll discuss that right now. So is everybody ready? Click like, subscribe. Welcome. I'm having fun. Are you having fun? All right. So Tycho Nestoris. Tycho Nestoris is a representative of the Iron Bank of Braavos in the television adaptation Game of Thrones. He is portrayed by Mark Gatiss. Although this is not a let's talk about the difference episode, because the show version of the character is just named Tycho Nestoris, but is given the storyline of Noho Domitis, who, so moving on. Yeah, Noho Domitis is the representative of the Iron Bank that goes to King's Landing. Tycho Nestoris doesn't go to King's Landing. Different character, completely different character. They just gave him the name Tycho Nestoris and not just Noho Domitis. I don't know why, but I don't care. I'm not going to compare them because they're two different characters. They do two completely different things. They just gave him this name. So we're going to talk about Tycho freaking Nestoris. Let's go. Tycho is tall, thin, and gaunt. He has a narrow face with dark eyes and a long, thin trimmed with ermine, all right, and a high, stiff collar. Ever since I could remember, I haven't popped my collar. That's Tycho Nestoris' favorite song. All right, cool. Moving on. Cultured and courteous, the banker speaks the common tongue fluently with only a faint accent. Yeah, I like this guy. So, just like my last video with Zando Doru, this Tycho doesn't have a house, right? And the second slide I usually cover is their house. So let's talk about the Bank of Braavos. The Iron Bank is the main bank of Braavos. It is one of the wealthiest banks in the known world and often lends money to outsiders such as archons, triarchs, and the Lords of the Seven Kingdoms. The bank is famous for its discretion and secrecy. A common saying among the Braavosi is the Iron Bank will have its due. So a lot like the Lannisters always pay their debts, but yeah, the bank will have its due. Kind of losing interwebs there for a second. All right, let's let's up. It's all good. Not gonna edit it out. All right. So, yeah, powerful Braavosi owns shares in the bank since its secret councils have a voice in selecting men who lead it. Key holders probably display ceremonial keys on formal occasions. The bank's ships dock at the Purple Harbor in Braavos. Although all free cities have their own banks, the Iron Bank is richer and more powerful than the others combined and has a fearsome reputation with collecting its debts. Yeah, they kind of have the House of Black and White like right there. They're like, we're the Iron Bank of Braavos, and also, we have faceless men like down the street. Mess with us. Visiting the wall. Let's get my logo out of the way. I like having my logo, but it always blocks. Okay. Tycho is sent to the wall to negotiate payment of the debt of the Iron Throne with King Stannis Baratheon. So this is after the Tycho's counterpart in King's Landing gets turned down by the Lannisters. They're like, all right, cool, we'll back this king instead. So he is sent to negotiate payment of the debt of the Iron Throne with Stannis Baratheon. He comes to Eastwatch by the Sea with 3 ships, where he finds the Queen, but not Stannis. Queen Selyse arrives at Castle Black with Shireen, Patchface, Axel Florent, and others, along with him, on their way to the Night Fort. They are accompanied by Tycho Nestoris. John warns Selyse that the Night Fort is still mostly in ruins and advises her that they may be more comfortable at Eastwatch by the Sea. But yeah, I love this picture right here by Alexander Karz. Karz. I don't know how to say that, but it's amazing art of Tycho Nestoris at the wall. I think it is one of the coolest. He looks like such a wizard in this picture. It's so great. He's got some Dumbledore going on there. But yeah, so a talk with the Lord Commander. John offers to give Tycho a tour atop the wall, but he prefers to speak with John now. He's like, "Do you want to have a tour?" He's like, "Shit, no, man. Let's talk. Preferably in a warm room." It's like, "Hey, do you want to go on top of the wall?" "No. Can we go somewhere warm and talk?" Tycho tells John that the Iron Throne has ceased all debt payments to the Iron Bank. John thinks this must be madness on the part of the Lannisters, and it is. He thinks that the Iron Bank may want to support Stannis in this war to ensure that the debt is evenly eventually paid. There you go. John asks for a favor to borrow ships and a loan to keep the Night's Watch fed until spring. Tycho says that this is impossible, but after a few hours of drinking and haggling, they strike a deal. The Night's Watch provides Tycho with guides to reach Stannis, who already left Castle Black. Yeah, Stannis is already marching through the north down to Winterfell when Tycho shows up with Selyse and all them. But yeah, Jon Snow does some really cool Lord Commandering here. He negotiates with Tycho Nestoris to kind of get some money or get some food. And he actually, when he lets Tormund Giantsbane's men through the wall, they collect all the old gold and everything of value they could from the wildlings, so they hopefully can sell it and pay the bank for getting all this food that they need, because they don't have any harvest to like last through the winter. So yeah, John does some really cool Lord Commandering with Tycho. So more discussing. Well, the conversation isn't done yet. All right. With the 3 ships added to the Eastwatch fleet, John counts that they now have 11 ships. He hopes to bring the wildlings down from Hardhome around the wall in order to save them and not have them become more whites and throw us to the others. Yeah, so he gets, "Hey, can I have your ships?" And okay. So they get 3 more ships so they can send more people up to Hardhome, because that hasn't happened in the books yet, and get more people. It's going on, but John's not there. And yeah, that's how that happens in the books. And I think it's really cool that he's like, "We need more ships. How many ships do you got?" And he gets that in the deal. Tycho discusses things further with John. John asks after Maester Aemon, Gilly, and Sam, because they went to Braavos, but Tycho knows nothing, and John can merely hope that they have reached Old Town. They talk about an unknown fleet prowling the narrow sea and rumors of dragons coming from the east. John joking that a dragon would warm things up, but Tycho said sternly that his people are descended from those who fled the Dragon Lords of Valyria, and they do not joke lightly about such things. So John apologizes. Yeah, he's like, "Hey," Tycho's like, "Hey, did you hear what? There's like dragons east," and John's like, "Could use a dragon here." You know what I'm saying? And Tycho's like, "Yeah, wrong company, buddy. We're Braavosi. We fled the Dragon Lords. We started a really cool city. Maybe watch dragon jokes." And John's like, "Okay, sorry." Sorry, dude. So he moves on from Castle Black. So that's his dealings with Jon Snow. Trek through the frozen north. Tycho travels to Deepwood Mott, where he pays the Lady Sybil Glover a ransom for 6 Iron Men. So he goes and picks up Christopher Botley, just a guy named Fingers, Grimtongue, Carl the Maid. I am planning on covering Christopher Botley. If you want me to cover Carl the Maid, let me know. All right. Rook and Rogan Rustbeard. Good old Rogan Rustbeard. The Ironborn escorts Tycho as he goes through the snow toward Winterfell looking for Stannis. The king is not at Winterfell, but Tycho finds Moore's Crow Food Umber outside the gates where with some green boys. He takes Theon Greyjoy and Jane Poole, pretending to be Arya Stark at the time, who were with Moore's Umber after their escape from Winterfell. After 3 days, they arrive at Stannis' camp in the Crofters village. Yeah, what did I just say? So he leaves the wall, hits up deep with Mott, and buys all the Ironborn from, pays all their ransoms to take them, and then he uses them as an envoy through the frozen north, and makes it to Winterfell. When he gets there, he doesn't find Stannis, but he finds Moore's Umber, who just found Theon and not Arya Jane Poole, who they just jumped from this huge, made this huge escape and jumped from the walls, and I think they're all pretty messed up. So they all then leave to go find Stannis, and they do. So yeah, this is a really cool picture. I used it for Clayton Suggs' vid too, but that's when they come up on Stannis' camp. So is that where I am? Yeah, frozen through the... Yeah, they arrive at the Crofters village. So what I'm about to cover now is all from Winds of Winter. I do consider Winds of Winter mostly canon, the preview books. It's not out yet. If you're watching from the future and the books came out, that's awesome, man. You got to read Winds? That's awesome. Okay, but since it's a preview chapter, I do want to just kind of give that little asterisk that the chapters might change. We don't know. It's not published. It was just a preview chapter. So this is all stuff from Winds of Winter. There's a lot of stuff, apparently. Stannis received the Braavosi banker Tycho Nestoris, and the two signed a contract. Stannis is planning on sending the banker back to the wall so he does not get caught up in the fighting. Stannis is made aware of Arnulf Karstark's plan of treachery due to the message Jon Snow gave the banker. So he gives him a little envelope and he's like, give this to Stannis if you run into him, because it's about how Arnulf Karstark is going to traitor him. He's a traitor. He's going to Benedict him. Benedict Karstark. Stannis has Arnulf, his son Arthur, and 3 grandsons arrested and plans to execute them. Though whether their death will be quick beheadings or fire depends on their willingness to confess. Yeah, it's not like confess and we'll let you go. It's confess and we'll just cut your head off. That's some hard negotiating. Don't confess and we'll burn you alive, yo. Holy crap. Stannis don't mess around. Stannis the Manus. All right. Stannis is sending Sir Justin Massey to escort Arya Stark / actually Jane Poole. I love Justin Massey. I might cover him. If you guys want me to cover Justin Massey, let me know. Back to the wall to reunite the girl with her brother, Jon Snow. It's not really her brother. In gratitude for Snow warning him to amass the northern mountain clans rather than march straight to Arnulf's trap. Yeah, so Jon's like, don't go right to Karstark's. You should go to the mountain clans and hang out there and get a big army from them. And he does. So he would have marched right into Arnulf's trap if he didn't do that. So he's in a gratitude for Jon. So he sends Jane Poole up with Justin Massey up back to the wall. Stannis also orders Massey to go with Tycho Nestoris to Braavos, where Massey will use the money given to him by the Iron Bank of Braavos to hire cell store companies until he has a force no less of 20,000 strong. Go and get me some men, yo. And then sail back to Westeros. Stannis also gives orders that if he is slain in the coming battle, Massey is still to do as instructed, but with the intention of using the army to place Shireen on the Iron Throne. Yeah, that's some really big moves that Tycho's part of because he's traveling with Massey back to the back to the Iron Bank, back to Braavos. And Justin Massey, they're supposed to get money from the Iron Bank, get 20,000 men, and either help Stannis if Stannis is still alive, or if Stannis dies in the taking of Winterfell, to rally people behind Shireen to put her on the throne. That's some really big. That's some really big stuff. All right, that's all we got for Tycho Nestoris. He was just in Dance of Dragons. He's only in those later books, that later book, but he's really interesting. I love the fish out of water of it. I love the big, huge gray beard hanging out at the wall. It's awesome. So we got a bunch of theories, 3 actually, and I'm not covering them really. I'm not making a real push for any of them. I'm just telling you what they are. And if you want to, you can go to westroad.org to actually find the theories and judge them on your own merit. I found these 3 massive tinfoil theories. They are massive posts that I cannot explain all the way here and do it justice, so check them out. All 3 are on westeros.org. Head by Hedge put forth an idea that Peter Baelish and Tycho are working together. I guess that's not crazy, but I'm not convinced. I guess it is possible. It's possible. Peter Baelish did work with the Iron Bank a lot. He's also descended from people from Braavos. He's not from Braavos. And we also, they did bring up like Luthor Brune brought tales from Braavos. So when he goes to Braavos and back. So there might be some working together there, but I always feel like whenever somebody's like, oh, the Baelishes are from Braavos, this character from Braavos, just because they're from the same city, they're best friends. Like, also, Peter never lived in Braavos, but every time we bring up a character from Braavos, somebody's like, I bet they're best friends with Peter. So I'm not fully convinced because there's no real evidence. It's just possible, right? That's the least tinfoil. Okay, so Bemused posts the idea that Tycho is a faceless man and they have a ton of evidence, and surprisingly, not the most tinfoil. Yeah, that's some pretty tinfoil stuff. This is a really large post, so if you want to go check out Bemused post on Westeros.org about Tycho Nestoris, if you just Google it, I'm sure you can find it. And they had a lot of talking in it. I'm not convinced that he is a faceless man, and even more, I am not convinced from the third one that he is not only a faceless man, but Tycho Nestoris is Arya Stark. Lol. Necrohesis posted that one. Not a ton of evidence, but it had to do some major jumps. Had to jump some major timeline loops. There you go. That was a sentence I wrote. Yeah, there's a lot of like, it doesn't work in the timeline. It doesn't really work at all. But they did a lot of hoop jumping to try to explain how Arya freaking Stark is actually Tycho Nestoris. Okay, I don't believe that for the life of me. That makes the other ones look like canon. But yeah, what do you guys think of Tycho Nestoris? Do you believe any of these crazy tinfoil theories? I don't. But maybe that he's working with Peter Baelish, but who knows? That's it. Thank you for watching, guys. Who do you think of this character? Please click like and subscribe, and go check out all my other stuff. I just covered Zondo Doru earlier this week, and yeah, this is great. I'm having a lot of fun covering stuff, and I've been giving new subscribers, so I check it all out. If you're brand new here, go check out all the other stuff. All right, I'm done rambling. Why don't you guys go take a trip to the bank? You probably got some bank stuff to do. All right, peace.